Hi everyone, welcome to the Whiteleyverse with me, Connor Whiteley, for another daily story with a chapter from one of my novellas. Before I start today's chapter, please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you want to buy this book and any of my other fiction, then they're all available from all major ebook retailers. You can order the paperback and hardback copies from Amazon, your local bookstore and local library if you requested. Also, if you want the AI generated audiobook, then you can get it from selected audiobook platforms and library systems like Cabal, Spotify, Barnes & Noble, Google Play, Baker & Taylor, Biblioteca and Overdrive. Now, here's today's chapter. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did writing it.
Chapter 2. The 10th of November 2023. Maidstone, England. Of all the damn places Detective Graham Adams didn't want to be, Maidstone, Kent Police Headquarters had to be on top of the list. He sat on a very uncomfortable blue fabric chair in a large white room, with a huge floor-to-ceiling window to his left, but the views were hardly great. He didn't want to see all the traffic, concrete buildings and shops of Maidstone. He wanted to see his girlfriend, his children and his nephews. He didn't want to be in a silly kangaroo court that was designed simply by people that didn't like him. All Graham wanted to be doing was out solving crimes, helping people, and just doing what he did best, which was serving and protecting the innocent people of Kent. He loved his job, and he wasn't going to allow corrupt cops or idiots to railroad him. Graham leant on the small plastic desk, like the horrible things he used to draw on back in secondary school to annoy his teachers. And he just stared at the three panel members as they sat behind a long row of desks with files, papers and laptops on it. The bitter-sweet aromas of strong black coffee, sticky glazed donuts and burnt bacon sandwiches filled the air, and Graham licked his lips as the taste of bacon cruelly formed on his tongue. The smell had to be coming from the bullpen just outside the room, but the silver blinds were pulled so Graham couldn't see who it was, or why they were being mean by torturing him with such sensational and tasty smells. The chairwoman coughed. He had never liked the chair of the misconduct hearing, Superintendent Gabriella Martin, or just Gabby to everyone in the police because her name was too hard to spell. She might have been a good cop, but Graham could tell that her uniform had been ironed and flattened to an inch of its life, and she was trying to impress someone that wasn't there. Graham had never met the independent member of the panel. A member of the public was the member of the panel meant to be, represent the public interest, with their own non-policing and experiences. It had been 2 days so far, and Graham still didn't know the man's name, but he didn't like his blue shirt, checkered red trousers and tan shoes. He looked like a dick, and Graham needed to make sure these people found him innocent. Then the last member of the panel wasn't here yet, but Graham couldn't complain too much. His representative from the union wasn't here yet either. It was annoying as hell, but Graham had to admit the man was next to useless, and considering he was facing 3 made-up gross misconduct charges, he really wanted someone good sitting next to him. "Mr. Adams," Gabby said, "we will start in a few minutes because Richard is coming up now. Your union man is unable, and whilst it is your right to request a new representative, I think we can both agree that you might be better off without one." Graham couldn't believe how dark, evil and condescending the woman's voice was. He completely agreed with her about his representative. He should have had one, but he liked to believe he was good enough at proving he was innocent to not need one. And they were useless anyway. "I agree," Graham said. "Good morning all," Richard said as he came in wearing his normal sergeant uniform. Graham hated wearing his police uniform. He was more than glad it wasn't too small for him, but the uniform just felt so alien to him, like the uniform didn't actually show who he was anymore. Something Graham really didn't want to be the case, but if he failed, then he knew he was going to be out of the police for good. "Mr. Adams, for the past 2 days, we have read submissions and testimonies from your fellow officers regarding your conduct, and we have had 3 witnesses talk to the hearing about such matters," Gabby said. Graham forced himself not to roll his eyes. He had no idea how hearing the testimonies of former cops that had been struck off the force because Graham had proved they were corrupt and abusing their powers were worth anything. And the rest of the testimonies were from cops that Graham knew were corrupt but couldn't prove. Or from such spineless men that Graham wondered what threat they had received to make them spread their lies in the hearing. "Quite frank, Mr. Adams," Richard said, "unless you have any convincing evidence to prove that the gross misconduct charges did not occur, then I suggest we go to deliberations and next steps regarding your future in the police." "Remind me of the charges," Graham said, hoping it would give him a little more time so he could think of something useful. "A police officer should always be responsible and embody the police conduct of confidentiality," Gabby said. "Yet you have time and time again shared confidential information with the British Private Eye Federation, without approval of your superior officer." Graham couldn't exactly deny that, but it was only when the police were being stupid, and it was UK law, that the Federation had access to anything the police did. "Also," Richard said, "a police officer must show respect and integrity towards higher-ranking officers and follow their orders. You never have." Graham didn't have the heart to point out that he had always followed the orders and instructions of his bosses, sometimes even when the orders were silly, but he had always disregarded dangerous and silly orders that would allow killers and criminals to get away with their crimes. "And finally," the independent man said, "there is evidence that you have not embodied the police ideals about diversity and equality." Graham laughed. He couldn't help it. It was him that always exposed and challenged and punished sexist, racist and homophobic officers. "That's funny?" Gabby asked. "It is a lie, and just call in Detective Kinsley to support me here," Graham said. The three members of the panel looked at each other. Gabby leant forward and gave Graham an evil grin. "Mr. Adams, Detective Kinsley was under police investigation himself last night for similar gross misconduct charges like yourself, but he was attacked and currently lies in a coma." Graham just leant backwards. This couldn't be happening. Kinsley was such a great man who truly believed in the power, good and duty of the police, something Graham hadn't believed in for months, and there was no way Kinsley would ever break a rule. So Graham had no idea what the hell was going on, but something was happening in the police, and that scared Graham to his very core.
Welcome back everyone, it's me again, Connor Whiteley. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's story, because I flat out love writing, creating stories and sharing them with you. If you really enjoyed today's story, then please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithms. And if you want to buy this short story or any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers, and you can get them from your local library if you requested, and you can order the paperback copies from Amazon, your local bookstore or local library if you request it. Lastly, if you want to support the channel on a one-off basis, then you can now buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Connor Whiteley. Also, if you know anyone who would enjoy today's story, then please share it with them. I'm always really grateful when you wonderful people help spread the word about the channel. So, thanks for watching the Whiteleyverse, and I'll see you again soon. Have a great day, everyone.